Ken, when we're done, can what we fill out the output export to Excel? Right. So just, if I didn't write it down and hand it to you on the biggest sheet available.
I know, that's my size of sheet.
And I'm not good. Okay, are we both ready?
Ready to move.
Good? Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the York County Board of Commissioners meeting for May 16th. I'd ask everybody to rise, have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, once again, welcome everybody to the Board of Commissioners meeting for May 16th. Roll call, please.
Rhodes.
Present.
Bear.
Here.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Oppenheim.
Yes. Open meetings law is posted on the south side of our chambers. It is on our website. It is also in the hallway outside of our chambers. Proof of publication was on our website as well as in the News Times May 11th. Next off, we need to review and approve the minutes of our May 2nd, 2023 Board of Commissioner meeting.
Move to approve.
Second?
Thank you. Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Sykes.
Yes.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Oppenheim.
Yes. Okay, next up is adopt today's agenda.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes.
Yes.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Bear.
Yes.
Ziegler.
Yes.
Oppenheim.
Yes. Officials forum.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Mark.
Update on our projects. We'll start in the southeast corner. Road 2, the box is poured, the forms are taken off. They have it, the back walls half refilled. Then they moved over onto Road K. They poured the floor last Thursday on Road K box. Yesterday, they had the interiors of all 3 barrels formed. They had the rebar being all put in. They had to finish forming the outside part of the box and get no rebar in the top deck. They were planning on, they told me they was gonna pour probably tomorrow. So then that one will have to sit for a week, and I imagine they will go back and start working on the dirt on Road 2. Road O, the bridge is all poured, the railings are all poured. They were sandblasting the piles in the piers yesterday so they could paint them. Later this week, the dirt work is supposed to start working to build the road back up to the new bridge and get it all taken care of. Then after that's done, they can put the guardrails on. So in 2 weeks, we're gonna be pretty close to having that one open. I'm not guaranteeing it, but it's gonna be close. Road 20, the West Bridge, they had all their faults work and forms up in there doing it. They was tying rebar yesterday. They had a lot of rebar to go, but they have a pretty good sized crew up there now. I'm anticipating, and what they was telling me, they probably pour that deck next week is what they were talking. The East Bridge up there, they had the cofferdam piles drove in. They were excavating that, getting ready to drive test pile, which they will start driving them later this week. And so they will start work going forward on that East Bridge and making it. And they had quite a crew up there yesterday, and if they keep going, that'll have that going. The county ourselves, we're now working on Road Q between 21 and 22 of cleaning the ditches on that. We're hauling that material over onto Road 24 between R and S so we can get that done, because that's one of our capital improvements that need to be done for this fiscal year. And that's what we are working on there. And then everybody else is hauling gravel, blading roads. Right now, we're mowing for Memorial Day and making sure our asphalt or blacktops are cleaned up a little bit so it looks a little better. And that's all we're doing, so.
Down on two, in between you and B, down that box
Yes.
down there. Is there any dirt work that we're gonna do
Nope.
yet? I mean, we may or may not been down there this weekend and drove back in there and looked at it. It looked good, but the south side, it looks like, are they cleaning all that out? All those trees that are real close there too then?
No.
Just right up to the line?
They're gonna be right up to the line there is all they will do, and they will build that across there, but no, we do not have to do any dirt work on it. It's gonna be done, it's gonna be rocked. When it's turnkey, when they're done, it's open, it's ready to go. We don't have to do anything on it.
Good.
So,
Looks like the dry weather, maybe our ag producers haven't liked it as much, but it's played well for
yes,
getting those boxes and bridges
Yes.
done, because it looks like we'll probably just make it.
it's looking more encouraging, it's taking some of the pressure off, so.
Anybody have any other questions? Thank you, Harvey.
You bet. You guys have a good one.
Mhm.
Likewise.
Any other officials this morning? I don't see any other. Mitch is on the agenda, I assume. Public forum. Anybody would like to come forward at this point in time? May do so. Okay. There is no reason to go into executive session today or general assistance cases. First up, we do have some transfers that is normal practice for those that are new to the board. We generally, after we do our budget, we generally get a cheat sheet that looks very similar to this, and our accountant supplies us with everything that we need to do to get funds in the right place throughout the year. Our emergency management, which is our 911, our area aging, our roads fund is done on a monthly and or quarterly basis. And then the rest of these that are descripted out are ones that we do, so like the veterans aid, juvenile diversion was our share, that's already been done. Transfer number 8 is from Fund 2601 to Fund 3700 is money that is still collected on back property taxes. And the way we had originally did it was in air, it was into the wrong fund. So that money, as it comes into 2601, needs to be moved at the end of the year into 3700. We've already done our inheritance switch, which we did 1.25 million this year. And so we already did that before the first of the year. County relief and medical was a 9,168 from general to Fund 1500, and that is to build up a $5,000 cash reserve. Transfer 11 is a general fund of 22,982 into the state institutions. That also builds up a $10,000 cash reserve. Fund 12 is a general fund of $31,027 into the emergency management fund, and this, once again, this is Fund 2915. That will build up a reserve of 10,000 into there. Transfer 17 is a general fund of 12,522 to the county attorney fund 985. This transfer will correct a coding error that was done in year 2021. And then also in that transfer, I've got two 17s, is that right? There's a general fund $11,052 that will also correct an error for year 22 into the child support agreement county attorney fund of 985. So those are a couple that as the accountant found them, those are things that need to be clarified. General fund into the inheritance fund, this was a transfer of $25,565.35 from, once again, general to inheritance 2,700. And this clears up a miscoded and recorded in the general fund of 6/30/2022. And then the final one, which is law enforcement, sheriff, $2960 of $4,850.69 into the general fund. And that is, it was incorrectly posted to Fund 2960, which is closed. So those are, some of them are cleanup and some of them are ordinary business that we have to go through. The main reason we needed to do this today is because our emergency management fund was getting very low on funds and it wasn't gonna meet the payroll for today. So we just decided to do the lion's share of them right now. There will be one more that we'll have to do, and that is our Fund 2913, which is our wireless monies we get in. And that the money that is not spent needs to go into a holding fund, and we'll do that one in June when we know those figures exactly. So a whole mouthful, but those are just standard of what we do every year.
So what causes the coding to be wrong and incorrect?
Just an
Typing
error.
error?
Yeah. Just an error, normal human error. We have computers, but we still have people running computers and it just happens. So this we can just do,
All of them together.
yep,
Okay, and a resolution.
Make a motion to pass a resolution to accept the transfers as presented by the chairman.
thank you, Jack.
Second?
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Rhodes,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Next up, Daniel, myself, and treasurer, and the deputy treasurer met with Midwest Bank this last week. Pledge securities, they are switching the way that they do pledge securities into a pool pledge instead of having the securities in increments of, as you see what we had here in front of us. So we got $175,000 pledge security, $185,000, $255,000, $425,000, and a $3 million. It's a total amount, another $100,000 for a total amount of $3,785,000. So their pool is the Nebraska Association is who they're going to. And we won't need the individual, for instance, if we carry too much money over there through sales tax collections or through property tax collections, if our monies get too much, then we would have to get more pledged securities. Anything over $250,000 is not insured. This will go into a pool now and it's basically unlimited. And it's the Nebraska Bankers Association watching this pool and seeing what money they have, rather than Midwest Bank having to do it and talking to us about it, asking for this new pledge securities. So we already do this with Henderson State Bank and with Cornerstone also does the pool. And so this, what we're doing here now, we'll just release all these pledge securities and then it will go into that pool collection. Sound like I explained it right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
as good as can be. Any questions on that I may or may not be able to answer?
That's the total, not
Oh, that QSEP in that, okay.
The one question, do we know, we don't have to have in this resolution to opt into the pool, correct? They just will automatically put our funds in.
Right, this is just releasing the pledge securities. The treasurer can authorize the pledge securities or authorize that. She can do that on her own.
Okay, perfect.
So this is just releasing those pledge securities and allow it to roll right into it.
Yep.
So basically, we're projecting our money over the $250,000 amount, should there be a default or something.
Yeah, it's just an easier process for the banks and for us alike. So for instance, if they're doing property tax collections, all of a sudden we're collecting, $15–20 million from towards the middle of April till the middle of May. And we don't have to go and get more pledge securities. It automatically is covered through this pool action. Yes.
And is a simple motion.
It's a resolution.
It is a resolution. So I would make a motion that we adopt a resolution releasing said, CUSIP numbers for pledge securities with Midwest Bank.
I second.
Thank you, guys. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes,
Bear,
Yes.
Whitmire.
Yes. Just in time.
Mhm.
Okay, next up is amending a resolution that we did, as soon as it pulls up here. Our juvenile diversion, was a fund that always seemed to be lagging behind in when we was expending the wages as compared to, getting the collections back in from the city. And when did we do that, Kelly?
4th of October.
Last year.
2020.
October 4th,
Yeah.
20.
So then we transferred $20,000 from the inheritance fund over to the juvenile diversion, and with the resolution stating that it needed to be paid back before the end of the year. The problem with that resolution is we don't have the budget authority to expend that money back out. It is, so we need to amend this resolution to leave it there, and then if we want to change it next year, we can, but we cannot. We don't have the budget authority. We'd have to open up the budget to change the budget to allow us to pay that 20,000 back. So what we're asking for today is just to amend that, budget, the transfer of the 20,000 from inheritance to juvenile diversion fund. Such funds are to be reimbursed, is what it said. We're asking it to stay there in this, amendment of the resolution.
Do we, so like this says, such funds are to be reimbursed, when money's available in this budget year. Can we just strike in this budget year and just leave it that, so when monies are available, we'll pay it back with no timeline, or would you prefer that it's?
I think I prefer that we just handle it in the next budget year and just strike,
the complete,
just stays there for now.
right, so rather than it saying that such funds will be reimbursed, we wanna just strike that sentence,
Right.
basically.
Right. Versus opening up the budget, which
Correct,
doesn't make any
correct. No,
sense.
it don't.
And the billing and the receiving and the expenditure of funds seems to be going much smoother, and I think we'll be able to during our budget process, realize what the best reserve to have in there. It may not be the 20,000.
Sure.
And then straighten that up in the next budget
Yep.
year.
Yep.
So that was just one of those, errors, that humans make.
I would make a motion that we adopt a resolution amending resolution 2239, striking from that resolution sentence, such funds are to be reimbursed to the inheritance fund when monies become available in this budget year.
Thank you, Daniel.
I'll second.
Thank you, Woody. Any other discussion?
By this budget year, you mean this budget year or the next budget year?
It was, when we made the resolution, we were going to
Do it this
pay it
budget
back
year.
this one.
But
What
now,
we failed to realize was, once, we had the budget authority to pay it from inheritance tax.
right,
But we didn't have the budget authority to pay it back to inheritance tax. So then, as we go through the budget, this next budget, we can look and see what makes sense and give ourselves the authority to
get it back.
reimburse it or leave it there, yep, either one.
Alright,
Basically, this, we're coming up on the end of the
Right.
budget year. We can't do this, so we need to amend the resolution so that, saying that we won't do that.
nothing.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Brooks,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
yes.
Bear,
Yes,
Whitmire.
Yes. Okay, now we can get to paying bills. Anything in there you guys want to talk about?
Well, there's a $43,000 payout for somebody.
Yes, there is.
Kevin Slender, yeah.
Is that,
Court costs.
is that for a number of clients or for just one client?
That is for a number of clients, and that is for multiple years.
Oh, okay.
We've had this board has had this discussion in the past. There is no state statute that demands they get it done within the billable year. It's following cases. You will notice that on the next billing claim, there will actually be some more money coming to the same person. It's a budget killer. It blew the county court's budget. If you've seen your balance sheets, they're underwater already, and they got 3 more payrolls to go. Over the course of the years, we've always been asked about if we have any legislative ideas. We're supposed to go to legislative session, we're supposed to go to NACO. I think this is a great one that we have to get this cleaned up. They have to get their services billed that year, because this is, in my opinion, this is irresponsible. I believe some of these claims went back to 2021, and it just upsets the apple
You
cart.
could
It
never
just,
get away with that in private business.
No.
Why would we do it here?
no, but these are approved claims that the judge writes off on the claims improving, and we have no choice, we have to pay. It's a budget killer. So, like I said, we'll see another round of them next week or in 2 weeks, and creates heartburn not only here, but upstairs also.
And they're legit, just
Right, correct.
sloppy.
Yep.
Maybe I could speak up to a little bit of this if I may.
You can if you'd like to.
Okay. Chris Johnson, Deputy County Attorney. So this is close to an unfunded mandate. The statute states that when the services are rendered to individuals who are indigent without the ability to defend themselves, that the county shall pay. It's not a choice. The Commissioner Obermeyer is correct. There is no state statute that says that it must be done within a certain amount of time. When I was in private practice, my standard was when the case concluded. Well, that usually works pretty well with criminal cases, because usually those are done and over with within 6 to 9 months, give or take, depending on the case. But some of these juvenile cases that we have, which are a lot of the ones that are the higher amounts, can linger on for years and years and years. We have at least one juvenile case that is still active today that I filed as a county attorney back in 2018. That's just unfortunately the nature of the beast. It falls on judges to regulate when they will and will not approve these things, because once they're approved by the judge, the practice is that the attorney turns the bills into the county attorney's office. The county attorney then reviews, makes sure that all of the efforts that are made and detailed line by line are proper for that particular case, signs off on it. That then goes to the judge. The judge then has a second look of eyes on it. Once the judge approves, the county shall pay that amount. Now, I believe, it's my understanding, Judge Homolka has adopted a new policy that every 30 days they are to start turning in their bills. There are a couple of offices here in town that do a very good job of turning them in on a 30 to 45 day basis, depending on staffing issues. There are some firms in town that save them up, and then suddenly here's your $43,000 payout. But ultimately, again, this is one of those unfunded mandates. State says you shall appoint, state says you shall pay, and we're stuck. But the one little bit of solace that I can give you is I personally reviewed all of these claims. My signature is on all of these claims. They were necessary, it's just over an extended period of time. So, for what it's worth.
Thank you, Chris.
So since it's an funded mandate from the state, would it behoove us to write a letter to all of the judges that serve here in York County, asking them to put some pressure on these individual attorneys to get their funds turned in so it can be managed more efficiently?
And we did, and it's probably only been a year and a half, because it's been since you've been on the board, a year and a half ago, we did, and it did smooth out a little bit. This is the big bump that's come now. Like I say, it may take some visiting with NACO and see if this couldn't be some legislation that could have some teeth to it too, to make them do it. But yeah, we did have those conversations, and I, in fact, personally talked to the district and county court judge at that time, so. So also there was an added claim from the assessor's office for $380.71. It's for rent of the copy machine over a 3-month period. So that is an added claim of $380.71. And then also in the COVID fund, which is the 2580 fund, last year when we were gonna buy so much gravel out of it, and in that fund right now, and I believe that's on page 13, the expenditure was $117,607.07. The $32,205.12 will actually be recoded out of the roads department fund, because we've hit the level of buying gravel that we said we would go to out of this. So that $32,205.12 will be recoded, same money, just be recoded out of the 300 fund. And I don't have that code in front of me right now, but so those are the changes to what's in front of you. Anything else get your guys' attention?
Move to approve the vendor claims.
With the additional claim?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Stan.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
This is big business. We're talking lots of money every month. I mean, it just keeps rolling around. I mean, this is big business.
It's nice when we get to see the one at the first of the month that was like 90,000.
Yeah.
And we get to see 962,000. Okay, roll call please.
Bear,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler, Brooks,
Yes.
Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, there is no funding transfers anymore. We've already taken care of all the transfers. Discuss an act on authorizing chairman to sign the noxious weed report. And Mitch is here, I believe.
Morning.
Morning, Mitch.
Morning.
I'm Chuck Solomon, Knox Weed Superintendent. So these are the reports that I do every year, and we approve these in January. And there's also a copy of my evaluation from the Department of Ag on here too, that they did me in last fall. So these are just, like I said, they're just the same reports we approved last fall, plus my evaluation, and we have like activity report and control plan, infestation report. And on the infestation report, a lot of my infestations have probably gone down since last year. I think a lot of that's contributed to the drought. The weeds aren't growing like they were, so that's kind of a misleading in a way. So if we get some good rain, it's gonna be determined if they're gonna come on or not. But right now, everybody's doing a pretty good job of taking care of the weeds, and from what I've been inspecting, and so that's not really an issue. I've got 2 open files, which they're both on Phragmites and leafy spurge, and on the leafy spurge, I sprayed that like right after he wrote me up on this. And so he knows that I sprayed this, and he's supposed to go back and check it, and then hopefully he'll clear it out. You know, the Phragmites that's on the Corteva plant over by Waco, there's 2 patches and some small ponds that, I went with the manager there and we looked at that and I told him what needed to be recommended for spraying that, and he did spray them. He sprayed them twice now, but the Paul Moyer, my Department of Ag guy, thought that it wanted to wait till this summer to see if it comes back or not, so he still kept that file open. So they're just 2, like I said, hopefully they'll be closed this year, so. Right now I am doing inspections and, spraying road ditches, so that's come along pretty good along with the wind on the blow, so, just, everything's going okay there. I did send out 36 notices last year. That's down from the previous year because I think the drought didn't have as much weeds come up and stuff, so. Yeah, so that's probably a good thing. Plus I've been spraying a lot, so I've been finding a lot of Canada thistle and leafy spurs and road ditches, and I try to spray that when I find them. So hopefully we'll keep on top of that and, don't have any more pop up, but that's got to be seen, so. So I guess that's about all I have. If you guys got any questions on these reports? Like I said, they're just the same one we approved last year. They just want you guys to look through them again and have Randy sign off on them. So you guys looked at them and approved them.
Any questions of Mitch?
I just need examples so I know what all those weeds are. So when you list, I know a musk thistle and I know some of the Canadian thistle, but I don't know all the others, so I need examples. So I have to get my weed book out and figure out what you're spraying.
Sure, I can get you some pamphlets on all the noxious weeds and, so you know.
That'd be appreciated.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
And I'm sure if you ever wanted a hands-on, Mitch would,
Volunteer, let me
he would,
ride along.
I'm guessing you could probably do a ride along
Sure.
with Mitch.
Yes, I can show you, or so you get a first-hand view of what they look like too. I know pictures kind of deceiving in a way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I did receive, as well as Mitch did, from, an email from Paul Moyer saying that this, needs to be discussed at a meeting. We've already seen the report, but then we sign it again, so this is just giving the chairman, permission to sign off on the report, gets turned back in, and we start it all over again, right, Mitch?
yeah.
Okay, any other questions of Mitch this morning?
Make a motion that we give the chairman the permission to sign the noxious weed reports and requirements.
Thank you, Jack.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Sykes,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Gross,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, I'll get it signed today and then we'll slip back around.
Okay.
All right?
Mitch, you can come up and spray my yard too.
Sure.
Yeah, that's,
Thank you, guys.
that'll look real good, Jack.
I'm not gonna say anything because somebody will think you really get that privilege.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, we have a drawdown next, drawdown number 8 for $24,547.87. Any questions?
And these have all, we've approved them all, the funds have come in, and so we're ready to draw them down. I'd make a motion that we go ahead and authorize the drawdown of affordable housing number 8, the amount of $24,547.87.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Gross,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay, next up is discuss and act on new corporate manager application for the Henderson Fuel Stop Inc. So this is just normal formality when somebody changes, that a state of Nebraska needs to look, the license changed. And
Does this request come to us from the state of Nebraska or from the,
Nebraska Liquor Control.
okay. And they're looking for a recommendation? I don't remember seeing that letter before. I mean, not that I probably just overlooked it,
I
but
think we have to pass it and then they have to pass it.
Sure.
That they have the final say. on
right,
everything.
you know. That first, that email from Corrine Anderson, I guess it's approved or no local recommendation or denied. There's the three options that I
Right.
saw.
It doesn't matter which one we check, they go by what they wanna do, right?
Typically.
Typically. Since I don't know.
I would think if you would want to deny it, you should have just cause
Yeah.
of why you're going to
Sure.
deny it.
But we-
Because
yeah,
they've had it, they're just changing the name
Yeah.
on it.
And we don't know anything about, I don't know anything about this, Derek, so,
And from scrolling through the application, it appears that he's crossed all the bridges that he
yeah.
needs to be able to sell.
Be the manager and do what he's doing. Yep. And this is just a simple motion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Daniel.
Second,
Thank you, Stan. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bear,
yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Overbaugh.
Yes. Okay, next up, discuss and act on removing Josh Gillespie and Gary Olson from the federal forfeiture checking accounts. We just did this at our last meeting or the meeting before, 2 meetings ago. And when we put their names on the accounts and then that information was turned in and the auditor that originally had been auditing the sheriff's department for the federal forfeiture money says they can't be on there. The only people that can be on there is the treasurer and the deputy treasurer. So went back to Cornerstone to say, wait, we need to strike the names. Well, they can't strike the names until it's in our meeting minutes and then we can say there. So it was just an error on our part. We thought we was covering all the bases when we put department heads, elected officials' names on there, and we shouldn't have. Should just be the treasurer and deputy, right?
Yep.
So
that
we're,
transfers over to any other department also. Should it?
well, this is the federal forfeiture money. There may be different rules on different things. This in specific to that. So we're just asking to simple motion to remove Josh Gillespie and Gary Olson from the federal forfeiture checking accounts.
I so moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Bear,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
and Overbaugh.
Yes. Next up, discuss and act on juvenile diversion state grants. Tristan is joining us today. It looks like we were approved.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Good morning, Tristan.
So, yeah, we were approved for both the CB and the EB grant, so they combined both of those amounts just to make it easier on us to have the 75,000 in one request, so. And then this Friday or Monday, we'll know about that other grant we applied for. She said that she'd get either the award out to us or let us know that we didn't get her, or whatever their decision is, so.
Okay, so when we originally did this, obviously we, on behalf of the board, we okayed it for Tristan to apply for these, and now we have to
Yeah.
accept them. Now I did get an email, but in that email, it was only for the CB award grant for
Okay,
a signature, so I want to make sure and bring that up to you if that
okay, and
has to have.
was it just this?
Because I knew we was gonna
That's
wait.
That's the email I got,
That's
and
the
has
email that-
both of them on there.
Yeah, it should only say CB because the EB grant is just their fancy way of saying it's extra money from the CB fund. And so I think this is the first year that they've really combined the
The
two.
two together.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think that's just the technical leaving the EB out, so.
Regardless, the amount is $75,071. And that's for the EB, CB.
Yeah.
Basically, it's for your job.
Right.
Tristan's job,
Yep.
and
And then,
Brennan.
yeah,
Brennan, there we go.
Yeah.
His,
so Brennan's will be that next.
Brennan's is the next one.
Correct.
This is for your job and your benefits,
Yes,
right? Your pay and your benefits.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. So,
Okay, then Brennan's will know soon because the budget year, the timeline crunch is coming.
yep, she said for sure this Friday, if not Monday.
Okay.
So, and then it'll just kind of be the exact same format with the grant award and then just me, Kelly, and Randy's signatures.
And we'll just have to get that back on
Yep.
the 30th, if it comes that soon, the 30th agenda.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
And will this signature do on this paperwork, or is it gonna be electronic again?
It'd be a little easier to do electronic
Okay.
because they've switched this year. I think they were having troubles with it or something, but they don't mind physical, but they prefer electronic.
So there we have it. This is, position, how long you had? Is it a year?
This will be a year in June.
Year in June. So, and I think everything is going well.
Yeah, our
I
numbers.
know that the county attorney's office, is highly supportive of this,
Definitely,
and
yeah.
too. So as long as we can keep getting the grants, I
Right.
guess we keep moving forward.
Yep.
Is a great idea, so.
Yep.
Any other questions of Tristan while this is in front of us? If not, just to entertain a motion to approve the signatures.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes,
Brooks,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Mormon.
Yes, thank you, Tristan. Just let us know. So I'll check that email out
Okay,
and make sure it matches what's that, and then we'll go from there.
sounds good.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, discuss an act on our 2023 ballot for election to the Nebraska Regional Interoperability Network, NREN, Board of Directors. There is one candidate. This is due in by June 15th. This is the statewide system for PSAPs. And Carla, I believe, she also serves on the 911 Advisory Committee with me, and I believe Carla is from Gage County. There's a bunch of us on there, and I'm not always the best to remember where everybody's coming from, but she is the one that's recommended from this group, as you see, our southeast region, to represent us. So it's just a matter of allowing the chairman to sign this one, and we will get it turned in plenty in advance of the June 15th deadline.
And our emergency manager, in that communication with us, is very happy with
Yep.
Carla and supports us voting for her. So I'd make a motion that we authorize board chair to submit a ballot in favor of Carla.
second.
Thank you, guys. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Gross.
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
and Overmeyer.
Yes. Okay. Next up. Planning and zoning's been on here for a couple meetings. Daniel, you've got some.
Two pages.
Okay. I was gonna do it, but. Okay, so Daniel, myself, and Mary from the clerk's office had looked over a couple of the job descriptions from Hamilton County and from Seward County, and then Mary had actually made up one for York County herself. And we kind of combined them a little bit and come up with York County's, which would be the planning and zoning administrator would be the job description that we would want to advertise to say, hey, this is the type of person we're looking for. Like Daniel, go ahead. I know I've been
Yeah.
talking a lot this morning.
Yeah, we kind of blended together and put together what I think we feel is a good description, a quick little summary of the position, some duties and responsibilities of what a planning and zoning administrator for York County would be doing, some skills and abilities that we feel would be necessary in order to do this job. We did put a little piece in there, preferred training experience, but not required. Just prior experience in zoning, planning, and land use. We understand that there's our target, there's a number of people that might be interested that probably don't have that experience. But if there is somebody that has the experience, we would definitely welcome that. And then just some work environment conditions and whatnot. The one thing that I was just thinking this through this morning, we don't have on here that there would be a responsibility to help and to update and maintain a comprehensive plan, and I don't know if that might, since we're looking at that in the next couple years, it might be something that we want to add on there. I don't know that it's necessary, but it will be a part of whoever is our next zoning administrator, so it might not hurt to add that in there.
You're right. It is best to spell it out, although, number 13, other duties may be assigned.
Right.
That you lump a whole lot of them in there, but I think it'd be great that we actually spelled it out to say that's done. Now, that's only done once every 10 years.
Right. Yep.
But ours is coming.
Yep.
And I know that this was just given to you guys this morning. If you want to pass on any type of decision on this today, we sure can, and put it on the next one. We would like to really start going as far as looking and seeing, is this, as I reported at the last meeting, this particular position seems to, in all the surrounding counties, wear more than one hat. And I would assume that's where we're gonna be with our county too. Currently, the compensation is $20,000 annually. And we were thinking that sticking with that scenario for right now, seeing if we could roll this out, see if we get anybody interested in the position, and, yeah, kind of go from there. It's gonna depend upon the experience of those who apply.
Like you said, you know, the rest of this board, I think we did have some examples, but, this particular, piece was just distributed here moments ago. Unless the board has reservations and wants to look at this a little bit deeper, I think that it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get that position advertised, and start seeing who we have for applicants out there.
Application period would probably run a couple weeks.
I would
10
think
days.
so, yeah. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, at least through the 26th probably would be a start anyway. If we don't get any applicants, we'll have to open it up again.
Okay. Any thoughts?
I'm ready to approve this, make a motion to approve this, adding that statement about having a comprehensive planning's gonna be done within every 10 years. So I make that motion.
Thank you, Stan.
I would second.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other discussion?
The only question I have is on that duties is number 5, assign address for county and E911. Addresses that are currently in the county aren't consistent with GPS, so we asking them to go back and reassign new addresses? Or we're just saying that that's a function, and so like with the Zach Gruber house,
New
an
addresses.
address would assigned to that
Correct.
house.
Yep. Yeah, this would be new building sites. And so just for clarification, in approving this motion, we would be, planning to put it out for applications open till the 26th. See who is
I can do that.
interested.
Mid-June, somewhere in there.
Mid to late June, yeah.
Mid to late June, that there'll be some zoning changes coming forward too, so if we could have somebody on board by the time those come back around again,
sure.
that would be a nice thing. Okay, next up. Discuss and act on public relations, that's how I put it in there, / media. As most of you have probably noticed, has been little to no coverage of what we do here over the last month and a half, 2 months. And Melanie and myself had talked on several occasions in that interim time. And this is an idea that I'm floating to see if the rest of you are interested in. This would be a position that would be a contract position. She would not be an employee of York County, as stated in the agreement that the county attorney's office had written up. It would be a compensated position at $250, not position, compensated contract of $250 a week, to cover not only our board meetings, but to cover any other vital information that the elected officials, department heads felt like would be a good idea to get out to the public. This would be done through the new website that is coming, through our social media, which has been stagnant kind of at best over the last year or two, and it just, I think it's worth a try, in my opinion, as the contract states that it can be canceled by either party in 30 days notice, so it's not a forever contract. If it's something that doesn't fit us, or we don't think it's working well, then we tried and we go a different route. But I do think it's valid to get this information out to people, to let them know just exactly what's going on here if they don't tune in on our OWL or don't personally come and show up as our friends are doing in front of us today, so. Melanie, if you would like to, come forward just,
Yeah,
and
I would.
I'll allow you to sit in the hot seat and,
I've only done this once on this table, so.
no, that's fine.
The other
Name,
thought-
please.
Sorry, Melanie Wilkinson, 120 Nebraska Avenue.
Thank you.
The other thought too, in addition to that, is with the development of your new website, now is an opportunity to include content that hadn't been there before. I had spoken with Eric after you had approved his contract. And there's ideas, there's like, and obviously this is limited to so many hours a week, which is how we kind of talked about the amount. So it's capped at that, I understand that, but we have some really neat ideas of things that I could bring to him, because he's not gonna be generating the content. He's gonna be taking the content and, creating this website. So, I don't know, I think that's a whole other aspect. And then also, like next year, we go back into the election cycle again. There's the, election night coverage with your new website, and you have local control over how that content's being placed instead of waiting for someone in some other state to put it up for you. I could do that same time, real time that night, and also helping with like your deadlines for, valuation protests and homestead exemption filings and candidate filings. And also I could work too with, if, I've had this long relationship with the sheriff's department, if they have things that they want to put out there, such as scam alerts, things that Paul and I have talked about, and Josh and, them over the years, things that other than crime thing, or whatever they would have that they'd want to put out. But anyway, there's a big myriad of things that I make myself available to department heads and whoever. They can get a hold of me. It would go on your website, radio station, newspaper, TV stations if warranted. And also, you have all this planning and zoning stuff that's coming up, and I've covered how many updates of your comp plan. I guess this will be number 3. So I'm just saying, that's just thoughts that I've had since you and I started having this conversation. So that's it.
So the content would be York County, I mean, our content, and we would be, as she stated, getting it out to other media, places, York News Times, if it was big enough, obviously, to
Right.
elsewhere.
And the radio station.
The radio
like that.
station, and
And of
that,
course, your website, which this would, I would assume, I don't know what the conversations were with Eric on the development of the website. I would assume there would be a specific place on the website that would just be designated for news
I would guess.
or, whatever.
Right.
So, and then there would be your individual things too. So let's say Sherilyn has announcement about changes in passport process. Well, that could be news, and then that could also be placed on the clerk of district court section too, as part of it, that aspect, so,
So this would not be covering the court system.
no,
This would be, if the county attorney or if the public defender had some information to get out, that's fine,
Right.
but this would not be covering the court system. This would be filling it up
No, this
with
is-
other news.
yeah,
Um,
county business.
Yes, and I think that, we have an opportunity, obviously Melanie is respected in the community and throughout the region, for her writing, and, so it's not like we're just grabbing somebody off the street saying, hey, can you write some stuff for us? We actually have an opportunity to have somebody that's well respected in that field. And, so like I say, it's something, not everything we do works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then we go, but I look for it to work just fine. I mean, give us an opportunity to get our stuff out.
I think I don't know, I'm excited about it. I think it'd be neat, and I think it's important that not just because I've been doing it for so long, but I think it's important, you know, that people know, one, what you do, that you're doing things, that things are happening, and there's things to care about, so.
Any questions, any
It's a freedom
comments?
of the press position, so, I mean, Melanie hears this discussion, and so we ask some questions. Do you interpret that and say, well, there's discussion about whether this is good or bad? I mean, are you just reporting facts? Do you have an opinion that you get to place as you report information?
Opinion? No,
So you're all,
no.
you won't have an agenda that you're promoting, but you're also
No.
not parroting our agenda necessarily. You're reporting what's actually going on.
I see it as, okay, well, it's, it's kind of the role though that I've had in the past. I report what happens, you know, as it is. But then we also do, not favors, I don't wanna say favors, but it's a public service to respond to requests from the assessor's office to announce, hey, your deadline is coming. So there's kind of two different ways about that. No opinion, no. And even in my past, I never editorialized about the things that I covered, and I never would, so, yeah, that's for certain, no agenda. No.
I don't know, that this necessarily ties directly into this discussion, but it is, something that I thought of with the new website, the reason I bring it up now is I think that we can work together to kind of make this transition if we decide to do that. But it's been in the back of my mind, we've been on Facebook with the OWL. As we go to a new website, I think there might be an opportunity to move to a YouTube video feed that would be able to integrate better, I think, in the website. And so with Mel, if we should move forward with this contract, I think that would be something that we can work with Melanie on to make that transition and see if it's the right way to go in keeping more transparency and reaching a broader audience.
I also, had some thoughts too about, I think, Mr. Ziegler, you may have said it. Anyway, it spurred some thoughts. I think, yeah, it was you that mentioned a while back when we were talking about the website. Okay, instead of Harvey just talking about, oh, the pilings went in on Road O between whatever and whatever. Yeah, why couldn't we just run out there and get some video? Or like, let's say the roads are terrible because it's been, would be blessed if we had tons of inches of rain and it was muddy. Or, you know, instead of just saying the roads are closed, show them why the roads are closed. Whatever, just things like that too, because there's not, you know, I don't know, just thoughts.
And Eric's indicated a willingness to post pictures or videos.
Yeah,
onto the
100%,
website.
and he will place, obviously, he's placing your content. This would be more of a generation, but obviously though, I would also have the ability to go ahead and just put it on the website. I've worked on one of his websites before, actually I'm working on one right now, and it's really navigable from the back end. So, there wouldn't be any waiting time, I could just do it as we go along, so. Plus, like I said, I've had a working relationship with him for, I don't know, 17 years, I think. So he can teach me things that maybe somebody, you know, yeah, we work really well together, and so I could do training with him on that, so.
So I had the county attorney's office leave the start begin date open. If we decide to go that way, we can pick whatever date that's necessary. Obviously, towards the end of the budget year, there would be, you know, for a month, finding $1,000 for the month of June we'd probably take it out of miscellaneous. That's not a problem. And then in the new budget year, if this continued on, then we'd just have, you know, a line item in that miscellaneous fund to do this, just like we do our audit and all of our other stuff, so. So there we go.
I just think it's a good idea. We've gotta get the message out there. It's not gonna reach all the seniors, the antiques like me that wouldn't have a computer necessarily, but it's a start to make information available out there. Keep people informed of what's going on. I think it's a good thing.
Well, and I think as she mentioned too with the radio, you know, we used to have radio coverage here, and I'm sure Mr. Green, that would be catching some of those seniors that are listening to the radio station in
And
the
there is
morning.
also everything that would ever be, posted on the website and sent out in news releases would also go out on social media. So I'd have to be an admin for, your York County account, but everything would automatically, you post it, but then you also push it out too, and draw it. And then that same token, and you don't put, how do I explain this? Also in that same token, you would put out a link to get them to come to the website. Then you drive the use of this website that you're put money and resources and time and care into, that would drive them to go and look into other things while they're in there. So that's an aspect too, instead of just putting all the material on a, like, let's say a Facebook post, you do it to get them to come into the site so that that site's being utilized.
So are we looking for a motion to put this in?
The motion would contain a start date. Do we know where the website's at? Has there been a
Templates are being made, or mock-ups, if you will. He reached out mid last week regarding if there was any department heads that would want to review and put new content on. So I think he's reaching out to different department heads saying, hey, here's the information that you had. So it is moving forward. I don't know that I don't know that it's ready to go tomorrow, but I don't think it's gonna be 2 months.
Okay. So maybe the first of the month would be, if that's what we were thinking, the 1st of June would be a good start time. And not to say it has to be hand in hand with it, but by the time that was rolling and then, this would just kind of blend together.
Right.
Yeah, or even if we started on the 30th, because that would catch that commissioner meeting. We build from there. It's not exactly a clean, crisp date, but it would catch a meeting and give us a leg up on it.
And if we're doing, I mean, you could say the 28th or the 29th, it's by week, right? Is that what, $250 per week, so that week would cover that meeting.
I haven't paid attention. Have you been taking notes back there today?
What?
Have you been taking notes back there today?
I have been for a month.
Have you? You just can't get it out of your system, huh?
Well, I have to stay in it, you can't just drop off the earth and then decide to know what's happening.
Okay.
So I have been, and so I also, therefore, I know people probably think that's insane, but, but it keeps me in the loop, because I have to know in order, if we're gonna go forward with anything. That said, I'll have material that we can I'll have material ready to
Okay.
jump when we start, and even if the website isn't done, it isn't ready, which it probably won't be, the press releases can start going out right away. And then that would also be available to help with any of that extra content that might be needed. History of communities, I think Eric had mentioned, was an idea that somebody had. Anyway, that's
Okay.
I'd move we extend the contract to Melanie Wilkinson to begin to serve as our PR communication person for York County Commissioners in York County, and effective 28th of May as a start date.
Thank you, Woody.
Second.
Thank you, Jack. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Ziegler,
Yes.
Sykes,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Bear,
Yes.
and Omer.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll see where we go,
Let's do it.
huh?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Okay. Stan, we're not doing too
Yeah,
bad.
you're doing great.
Yeah, we're gonna get you out of here, ain't we? All right, down to committee reports. Do you have anything, Stan?
Oh, well, I went to the Region 5 meeting, and of course, they're gonna be a $10 million shortfall or something like that. That was a lot of discussion on that. And it's my first time I've gone, so I'm kind of a rookie there. And so there's really nothing spectacular at the meeting going on. So, and then this morning I met with Harv with his, and I made sure that he was happy with Nebraska. They didn't fall in love with Kentucky and was thinking about moving. He assured me he was happy here, so I encouraged him to stay because we need him. And he talked basically what he said here. So that was good. That's it.
Okay. Daniel?
So we had our initial budget committee meeting with all the department heads. So kicking off that, I think everybody's on the same page and aware of what we face. Also met, Allo is coming into the city, and they will be live with services in the area of the courthouse soon. So they just wanted us to be aware of what they could provide, so we'll keep that as a option to provide the internet for the courthouse. During that discussion, we talked a little bit about the public-private partnerships that are happening in other counties, and whether or not that there might be an opportunity to do some fiber build out in the county. And it was, the opportunities are there if we decide that we want to go down that route. YCDC exec board met this last week, and the full board will meet next week. They did receive the Rural Workforce Housing grant, so they'll be starting a development on the east side of York to build out some new houses. And we had a presentation from York University on a graduate assistant program that they're developing. They're calling it Community Relations Graduate Assistant Program, and basically they're looking to partner with businesses in the community that would want to employ a individual that would be also attending York University to secure a master's degree. There'd be a partnership there, obviously, and so they just kind of presented that to the executive team, and they decided that it was good information, and so they will present again to the full board, and that would be open to all businesses in the community. I met with Tom Bliss, the director of SEND, just to kind of have a initial discussion and get a better understanding of what SEND can offer. And so that was a very good meeting to kind of hear more about the housing and contracting, rehabilitation. We do some of that, the grants here. We just did the drawdown here not so long ago. The economic development, disaster and emergency relief, and different community development pieces that they offer. And so it was good to kind of help me get a better idea of what is to offer as I begin on that board. And, like you said, we talked about, or we met with, Midwest Bank regarding the pledged securities, and, I think that, the treasurer's office has a good plan forward for, some of the investments that the county can do, so. Yeah. Covers what I have to share, I guess.
Okay. Woody?
I attended the same tech meeting with Allo, and it was informative, good to know, and nice to hear that they're thinking about how could they get out to the Lushtons, the Greshams, the Wacos, and serve the whole county, not just the courthouse. Also participated in a veterans meeting, so the quarterly meeting, and we sat in on that. And representation from veterans from a variety of branches of the service. It was a good discussion. Met out at Wendy's for lunch. And it's well organized and moved fluidly. Carol was there as part of that group. And I keep running into Harvey's crews everywhere. So up in that northeast corner, and then I thought, well, I'll go down to Lushton. I had somebody I wanted to visit west of Lushton there. And they're down there cleaning out ditches and stuff too, so that, I mean, they're really busy. Although it comes at an expense of not having guys on the maintainer. So I had somebody say, well, this road's kind of rough. Well, there's gravel there and it's on there, but one of the county guys as I was visiting said, it's been 15 days since I've been on my maintainer, because they're patching cracks and putting mastic on, filling, so. You say yes to something, you say no to something else, and that's what they're balancing, so.
Good. Jack?
Okay, on the third, we had the veteran service meeting, and we have one of those members here today. We invited all of them to come if they wanted to. Most of the conversation was about budget, and also about the vehicle that was purchased. The next meeting I had was with the 911 meeting on the 5th. And it was my first meeting with them, so I kept my mouth shut pretty much. But I learned a lot what was going on there, and a lot of it was about budget, about manpower shortage in the 911 system, and that's the reasons for such high overtime and et cetera, and I think there's other departments that are short of personnel, and that's probably part of the cause for the overtime and holiday pay that's a little high this time. And the third thing was the aging services on the 10th. There again, we talked about budget. It was nice to see the mayor of York show up, as they have a representative on that board, but we haven't had anybody from the city since Orville Stair was there. And it was nice to have that representation there. We had a good discussion, talked about the vehicles, about their manpower problems. So, after you guys take care of this financial stuff and get the budget done, maybe we can have a meeting that's not about the budget.
It's always about the budget.
Always about it. And gravel.
Got everything?
That's all.
Unless you think of something else. Okay, tomorrow I have Public Service Commission advisory meeting down in Lincoln. The meetings were already talked about, joint communication, I was with Jack, budget meeting with Daniel and stuff. So yes, we are working towards that, and hopefully it goes smoother than it is expected at right now. I did receive a letter from the city, and this is just a formality. This is regarding their tax increment projects throughout the city. It come from the city clerk. They have three TIF projects. One is the Creekside Apartments. It started in 2020, Nutrition Services in 2018, Bukowski Builders in 2019, Beaver Creek Products in 2016, and Lavander Body Shop in 2016. So this is just a letter of formality that they sent out. So let us know about that. I did get several thank yous from the McCool FFA, allowing to do what they did, so, they thought it was very neat that they were able to come here and do that, and we took the time to do it, and, so I thought that was worth mentioning. I will be reaching out to John. I probably won't bother Janet Hughes as of yet, you know, they're in budget, and I think they got a real, interesting one today, that they're debating, so I'll probably leave them alone, but I do think that there is some, legislation to help us on that, if we can get somebody to take that ball and run with it, on the billing is what I'm talking about there. And although I didn't talk to Daniel at it, but, he was there, I seen him, the park dedication, was this last Saturday. As you're aware that, you know, the Visitors Bureau, which we control that money, was 300,000 of that 1.3 million. It was a great turnout, and if somebody else was there and I missed you, I could have. There was a lot of people there that day. It was a good turnout. It was fun to watch the kids, you know, blast through the gates and get in there, and I'm sure it'll be well used for a long time. It was quite an accomplishment for that group to raise that type of money. And it looked pretty good. If you haven't been up by there yet, I'm guessing you probably have. It really looks neat. So that was a neat event. We will have one more payment from the visitors that will be coming in August, end of August, somewhere in August. We'll be making our final $100,000 payment to that project, and then we'll be done with that. Visitors Committee, we just said didn't have anything for our agenda this week, so our meeting was canceled. That's always kind of nice when they cancel a meeting. I think that's pretty, other than just the normal day-to-day. Did you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Got nothing. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, at this point in time, we will stand adjourned.